All right, apparently we're live, but I got the pre-show roll thing going. So let me know when it pops up on your side.
That's cool. I love this music.
I know this gets me pumped up for some reason for my stream that I do. All right, guys, we're just run the pre-roll for a little bit because I woke up super duper late and I gotta try to get shit configured. So this is my way to cover up for my mistakes. Enjoy the marquee. Oh man. Hey, what's up, Miss Lizzie? Bum 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 bum. All right, baby Huey, do you got a live stream up?
Yep.
How's it looking? It's not chunking or anything.
No,
Good. All right, I think I can lower the volume there and then bring you back up. It's funny, I got like 3 giant screens, but because of the way we do the screen capture for this, I gotta fix that. Because like it eats up like 1.5 screens.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so you were talking about using Zoom.
Yeah.
Maybe for the future. So, it's a cute, cool little trick that a buddy from work showed me. You can create 2 window captures, right? For you capture the same Zoom window twice, but then you can crop and this might actually be how you're doing it with the Discord thing. You can crop that window capture to just one side of the Zoom thing.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. For the Discord.
Yep.
Right?
I capture Discord as two captures, and then I recrop each one of them separately, and then flip them around so that we're facing each other instead of facing them.
Yeah. And I was like, oh man, and it was cool because like I could make each, because like right now, like I see our Discord video feeds as 16 by 9 rectangles, right? But you could crop in that extra space so that like it's just the well, you do that. You kind of crop it down to a 4 by 3 square,
exactly,
and give you more real estate, and you can blow it out bigger. And I basically kind of actually, now that I'm talking about it out loud, I basically have kind of redone what we do here for the ones that I'm doing.
Yeah, here I'll throw us up on screen right now.
So it's got that space along the bottom, and oh no, that was your web browser. Yeah, that's yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't have my Stream Deck says that it doesn't have the plugin enabled. Let me kill the music. It says it doesn't have the plugin enabled, so you guys had to see my web browser there. Luckily, I didn't have any adult material up on the screen. Not that I'd look at that because that would be bad. That'd be really, really bad and unfortunate if I did something like that. Outside of Edge, I only do that stuff in Edge.
Just has a superior media search.
Yeah, but actually, everybody always asks me why I use Bing, and that's like literally why anybody should use Bing. Is it's multimedia search. Like Microsoft put so much money into it. Like Google couldn't even touch it if they wanted to. Like it's like Google, I think, is still the superior engine for searching for like websites. But I think Bing just lays waste to it when it comes to any kind of media search, whether it be music, whether it be video, like especially adult content. Like you disable that search safe filter, you might as well be like enabling PhD porn mode. Because I mean, you'll find anything on there. Like everybody's like, oh, what's your favorite adult site to go to? You don't have to. It's just Bing, dude. Bing will lead you. It will show you the way. Plus, the other thing I like about Bing too is that it applies. What is it? The AI learning stuff where it can look at facial features and stuff and like narrow down stuff. Like you don't even put meta tags in. Like you could literally just put in like blondes if you wanted to, and you'd get all blondes. And
that's crazy.
You put it, I mean anything you put in, and it doesn't just search based on that metadata. It searches on the AI metadata too, which is pretty damn cool.
It'll find like similar looks and stuff.
Exactly. One of the creepiest technologies, and everybody here knows I'm a dirty boy, but just go do it. If you have a picture of somebody, you can take the face and do a reverse image lookup on Bing. You literally just go to search and you basically upload the image and do a reverse image lookup, and then the media tab will open up all the media of people that the AI is determined to look up to so many percent similar to that person.
Wow.
And it's scary and creepy how accurate it can be. Like it'll pull up pictures and you'll be like, nah, that couldn't be that person. There's no way in hell. You know, you're like right on the edge. You're like, oh man, this is kind of creepy. Yeah, welcome to Microsoft. That's how you win the wars. Just like beta versus VHS, just like DVD, or HD DVD
Right.
versus Blu-ray. It's all the same, right? It's the dirty creepers that decide what technology reigns supreme. They just can't say it publicly.
Sure.
How's everybody doing this fine morning? Welcome to Tech Talk on this fine Saturday. Have you been enduring the thunderstorms over there, or do you even hear them?
My poor pupper has been flipping out.
Oh, yeah, our cats have been doing like NASCAR races around the house because that really deep window shaking. Like, you guys may hear it. Let us know in chat if you hear it during the stream, but there's been a massive thunderstorm going on here. And it's not like the really big booming. It's that rolling thunder that's like super deep and goes forever.
Yeah.
And
There was
so I
one
woke
big
up-
crack earlier.
What's that?
There was one big crack earlier that it sounded like it shook the house. It was
That might have been
nuts.
the one that actually woke me up originally, and then I kept hitting the snooze button for like another hour. But there was one that was like, it was like boom, 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 and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And then it ramped up, and then the glass on the house, my entire glass on my house started resonating. And the cats just like freaked out, and Xander's in his room going, woo, that's awesome. Like, my son used to be afraid of thunder. Now he thinks it's like the coolest thing ever. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Kids
I
are
love
like
thunderstorms. Oh yeah.
I was so scared of them as a kid, though. I was scared to death. Like,
Yeah.
my mom used to tell me that it was God bowling.
That's awesome.
Whenever there was thunder and lightning, it was God bowling, and every time you saw lightning, it was God getting a strike. Because I used to bowl when I was a kid. I bowled with my grandpa, so that was her way of explaining it to me. And so,
cool.
as a kid, there was literally a solid like 2 years where I believed every time that there was a thunder and lightning storm that God was up there bowling. And I was like, why isn't there lightning and thunder when I bowl, Grandpa? Oh my God, good old indoctrination! Don't you love it? Oh,
Do
man.
Washington people say Washington? No, that washing in general, that weird R that people put into like drawing and stuff like that. That's like an East Coast thing. Or Midwest.
The drawl.
The further west you go, the less of an accent there is. Like myself, I grew up mostly in Washington, a little bit of Alaska, a little bit of Arizona. I enunciate and pronounce, in my mind at least, American English, the way it's supposed to be said.
Yeah, whenever you hear like an
and,
English person talk, like whenever you hear an English person do like an American impression, it's always like an East Coast American or like a Southern American. It's never like I'm going to give you my Seattle impression, because I think we're like the accentless people. Like, we killed the accent. Like, originally English had an accent to it, and we somehow just murdered it.
And I've heard too that like news organizations will try to get more West Coast anchors and broadcasters and stuff, so that their accent is as neutral as possible. They can be understood across more I guess sectors or whatever.
Interesting.
It's so that you don't get those strange sort of, it's almost a dialect in a way, like, you know, those pronunciations and stuff.
We do have some thick accents here, though, because when I traveled to New York, when I went to New York and I was in Queens, man, I encountered some people that had like that thick Brooklyn accent, to the point of where I wasn't 100% sure what they were saying on certain things. Like, other things were fine. Like, it's weird. It's like this half and half thing. It's like some of the stuff that they say, it's like, I get it immediately, but then they start kind of going off into their own like little local insider joke dialect.
Yeah,
and they completely
and slang
lose me.
too. Slang and
Slang,
certain just that kind of stuff. Everybody's different. It's definitely it's like a dialect.
We should ask chat. Like, is there anybody in chat here that like has come to like the Western United States? Like, I know California has its own accent too. Like, if you get into Southern California, you start getting kind of a little bit of the Valley Girl accent and stuff like that. But Oregon and Washington, is there anybody here that is like a foreigner that has come to Oregon or Washington and thought that it was a weird accent, like it was a weird like English speaking accent? Because I'm just curious, because again, we're probably used to it, right? Because I'm sure people like in Europe, they probably don't think they have an accent, right?
Right.
I think the perception of an accent is you don't think that you're the one that has the accent. You think everybody else does, because everybody else speaks just like you. So you're like, no, we have the accent. Like when you have like the big long drawl and everything, you're like, no, that's just English. Washington,
Minnesota, don't you know? Don't you know?
Actually, that was pretty funny. I did go to Minnesota, and that accent was super thick.
Yeah, hanging out with maple syrup mods, Canadian. I think from Ontario. He's like straight north of.
Dude, you're right. The Canadian and Minnesota accents are very similar, aren't they?
Very, very similar. Yeah. I've noticed too, like from hanging out with him and listening to him talk. I've been able to pinpoint other, like that kind of middle Canadian accent based off of the way he talks too. I'm like, oh, there is a little bit of a difference, a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was kind of mind blowing a little bit when I started noticing it elsewhere. It was
well,
fun.
I've seen Linus go full Canadian before too. Like when I've been hanging out with Linus, when he's not on camera and he's just at conventions and you're talking, you'll get a lot of, A's and buddies and, the local dialect, oh, that wasn't working very good, or, oh, hey, what's up, buddy? How's it going, buddy? But he doesn't do it a lot on camera, which is funny. Like you can tell that he's programmed himself to be very, very precise and very technical on camera. But off camera, and not all the time. Like he's not like that off camera all the time too. But it's I've had a couple conversations with him where it's like his Canadian definitely comes out, and you totally notice. And you're absolutely right. Now that I think about it, it's like the Minnesota accent's the same thing. Like, just a thicker. It's a thicker accent. Like I know in Minnesota, like when they talk, there's a lot more. I don't know how to say it. The words are longer. Like certain words
like
when
that.
they're talking, they drag it out a little bit. And but I actually really like the Minnesota accent. Like I totally forgot about that when I went to the Mall of America. And it was like wind chill of like negative 25 degrees outside, and people are walking around like t-shirts and jeans. I was like, whoa, that was more impressive to me. But I actually liked it. I'd go back to Minnesota. Not right now, not right now. Let things cool down a little bit. But I would love to go back to Minnesota with like 5 pairs of Under Armour under my clothes, the underwear stuff, and hopefully in the summertime it gets above like -0 wind chill. This is the coldest place I've ever been.
It's wicked cold.
Dude, I went to Alaska. Like this is the biggest like stereotype that was wrong in my life is I went on a cruise to Alaska and I was expecting to see like snow and freezing temperatures, and it was like it wasn't even like really summertime. It was like spring. It was like 70+ degrees up there. It was warmer up there than it was here.
Southern Alaska for sure. Like the Anchorage and what's the other big one? Juneau. We'll get
we were near Juneau.
Fairly normal weathering. Yep. Yeah. But like I lived up in a spot called Haines, Alaska when I was little.
I've heard of Haines.
Look, climate change is literally is a thing. It is making a difference. Like it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer north, warm. But I remember I don't know if it's real a memory, but like I remember seeing pictures and things like that. But Haines got like 16 feet of snow one summer.
God.
Like our trailer was literally buried in the snow.
Just turned it into an igloo.
like they had to continuously plow just to keep like roads and driveways open.
Oh, that's crazy.
Otherwise, you'd be literally trapped in your house because the snow was out of sight. Just boop out of there.
It's crazy to think people even live in that. Like,
oh yeah,
but that's normal for them if you grow up there, right? It's just like everything. It's like I always ask people, like, how do you live in Australia when it's like 107 degrees outside and every single animal there is venomous and will kill you? Like literally, if your kids go outside and like pick up a snake, like 9 out of 10 of them are going to be like the most venomous 10 snakes in the world, right. and it's just normal. Like they're like, no, we just live with it. Like it's normal to them. I go outside and I see like a killer hornet or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, run inside, lock the windows and everything. Over there, they got them like buzzing around them like they're freaking mosquitoes, like swatting them away. Like, get out of here. It's weird. It's weird how like different.
I think it's
places.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. But so somebody in chat said that if I went to Newfoundland, they speak my language speed because I'm a fast talker usually.
Oh yeah.
When I have my coffee, so he's like, if I went there, I wouldn't have to tell him to slow down. hey, Arnaldo, is it Arnaldo? Thank you for the $2.
Yeah.
So just wanted to show my support and say hi. I appreciate it,
thank you very much. Thanks, man.
We appreciate the support during this dark time, during the apocalypse.
Dude,
it's nice to have some
not. I don't want to go too far down that path, but it is some craziness right now.
Yeah, it is. No, and the thing is, yeah, I definitely don't want to go in deep on it, but I mean, we definitely do have to acknowledge it at least. I mean, there's some shitty things happening right now in the world that aren't COVID related, and those people definitely deserve to get some attention after what keeps on fucking happening over and over and over again. But please, the only thing I want to call out for is just peaceful protest. That's it. I understand that some people are mad and they really want to like destroy stuff and everything, but just try to be peaceful. I guess I can understand. Like I tried to yesterday. I wasn't really like looking at it that way. I was thinking like, I was thinking about the criminal activity side of it, but then I gave it some more thought and I'm like, yeah, I could see like if my family members got killed and stuff like that, I could see myself just going on a fucking rampage and like burning shit down and blowing stuff up. Like I get it. I actually get the anger component of it now. So I'm a little bit more understanding since my rant that I went on yesterday. But I just hope that in the end, everything will get rebuilt. But I just hope this time around that they fucking like figure it out and this doesn't keep happening over and over and over again because, it's there's no good outcome. It's mutually assured destruction at this point if we continue down this path. Yeah. And the fact that this is happening during the COVID-19 thing makes it even worse, right? Because the last thing that we need right now is huge groups of people congregating. But at the same time, it's like if there ever was a reason to congregate, like this is it. Like there's no way that you can tell people stand 6 feet apart, when they're up against a bunch of police and riot gear with tear gas and stuff. So just try to be safe, guys, please, especially our viewers. If you're gonna protest, keep it peaceful. Stay back behind the police line. Don't give them a reason for any more violence. That's what I can't handle seeing that shit. I watched it for 3 hours yesterday on TV, dude, and I was like sitting there, dude. I was like in tears at one point because I'm like, my God, really? Like we're fighting the worst fucking pandemic ever, and now we gotta have. The worst
part about it is like it's so like my job is social media, right?
Yeah.
Like I
can't get away from it.
I have to see. I have to at least look into what is going on, regardless. And this whole week has been very tough on my just
soul,
my,
for lack of
my
a better
emotional
word.
Strength. Yeah, my soul, man. The hate and the anger and the fear and it's like. It's clearly been building. Yeah. Not just this week, but like this whole year, the last few years, really. Like, and it's just, it's hard. It's just really, really hard to see. Like, because I genuinely do feel like the majority of people are good and mostly just want to live their lives and go about their business and don't, and in a way, don't care. Like, they don't care if you're gay. They don't care if you're black. They don't care. Right. They're very blinded and have to just go through their day just to survive. Most people. Mm-hmm. I genuinely believe that it isn't. And apathy. Okay, yeah, maybe apathy is not the best way to go, but at least it's not like active negativity or active but that apathy also allows people who are motivated by dark intent or bad actors to get away with a lot. Yeah. And I feel like that's part of how we've gotten to where we are right now.
Yeah, there's always a few bad apples that ruin everything. That's basically what it comes down to. And this is on both sides, right? This is like the violent protesters that aren't protesting because of what happened to George. They're just using it as an excuse to blow shit up and to steal stuff. Those are the bad actors that are not helping everybody else that is actually trying to protest in a positive way and draw attention to it. But at the same time, I do understand the confrontation with police because I watched half a dozen videos yesterday where the police were like yelling expletives back at the protesters and like throwing shit back and like hitting them real like an old dude. I watched a police officer just like rail an old dude in the back with like a stick. And I was like, he wasn't even facing him.
Come on.
Like, come on, dude. Be professional. You're a fucking police officer. You literally get paid. Like, you know what a good police officer is? And I know some people may disagree with me on this, but like I got pulled over with in a car with my friend Cam growing up. And Cam hated law enforcement because his dad was an officer. His dad was an officer, so of course, he was raised up in that atmosphere. And I remember the officer coming up the window and he like cracks the window like an inch. And the officer's like, I need your driver's license. And he like sticks it through like the tiniest little hole at the top of the window and says, here you go, bitch.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like shaking. I'm like, dude, he called him a bitch. And so
yeah,
the
that's
officer
not okay.
pulls it through the window and the officer's looking at it. No, listen to this. This is interesting. So,
Sure.
and look, I'm freaking out and thinking this cop's going to just bust us out of the car for being disrespectful and beat our asses and throw us in the car.
Right?
He never did. He kept his composure through the whole thing, even though Cam was antagonizing him the entire time. He kept his professionalism. He wrote him a big old fat ticket and gave it to him and said, sir, you have a nice day. And he walked away. And Cam's like, fuck you. I hate you pigs. Goddamn fucking you. I hope you all die. He just completely ignored it, went back to his car. And I was like, you know what? That's professionalism. Like, that dude knows what his job is. And he stayed in his lane no matter how much the other person antagonized him.
Yeah.
And I know it's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that in situations where there's so much tension and there's so much heat, the police, I mean, they're literally paid and trained to be calm and to be collected and not become the mob, right? And the sad thing is there's some of them that don't hack it, that actually do give into that shit. They do start taking it personally. They do start getting a little too involved. And that's when like really, really bad shit happens. Like, people start dying, It's like the dude on the ground, right? With his knee on his neck. It's like, that was completely fucking unnecessary. That guy is a cold-blooded murderer. The guy was no threat. But you know what? I bet you he was angry over some stupid shit that he should have just ignored, that he runs across every single day in his normal life. And just that day, it just fucking, it got to him. And the dude just fucking snapped. And it's like, no, that's not okay. Like, if you're law enforcement, you need to be professional. I understand you're human when you take the badge off, but when you have the badge on, you are paid to be cool and collected and not go fucking going crazy, in my opinion. But I do understand that cops do take a lot of heat. Like, that's not a job that's for everybody. Like, to be a good cop, I think you really, really have to be able to separate out the human element from your job. Like, you have to be able to just almost be robotic in your application of justice when things aren't going right. And unfortunately, we're all emotional creatures. So every once in a while, one of us goes flying over the line, right? Swinging the sword, and it's terrible. It's just fucking terrible. It's an unfortunate situation. I'm sad. I'm really sad that it's happening right now, but I hope that after all this ends, I hope that it's one of those things where it's like this sticks in people's heads, like regardless of the violence and everything. I hope that this sticks in people's heads enough that we have some real change moving forward, and you start having police officers that are like, you know what, next time I'm going to do some stupid shit, I'm going to think twice about it, Yeah. But I don't know if that's going to happen because, oh my God, have you been watching the Karen videos lately? Let's transition to the
nuts, dude.
Oh my God, like how do you not know? This was I'm sorry, I got to rant now, but how do you not know that when you do racist shit in public while somebody's pointing a phone at you, how do you not know that's going to be on the internet?
Yeah.
Like every single one of them, the same thing. Like that lady in the dog park that's like, oh my God, African-American man's trying to murder me and my dog. Send the SWAT team to kill him. Oh my God. Like, lady, you are literally being recorded. What do you think's going to fucking happen? And then it gets out and it gets viral. She loses her job. And then all of a sudden she's apologizing. And then the very next day, there's another lady in a park, like getting after a Latino family for playing music, saying, oh, Trump's the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. Go back to Mexico. They're like, we're from Puerto Rico. We're from a U.S. territory. What do you... And she just kept calling them Mexicans. And I was like, my God, you're being recorded, lady. What are you doing? Like, okay, racists are dumb. I get that. Racists are just by definition dumb people. But how dumb do you got to be to keep doing this shit in front of a camera and then wondering why you get in trouble? Every one of them comes on like, oh, I didn't really think that through. Oh, I apologize. It's like, or like the guys in the apartment building in, this was in Minnesota. Did you see that? Like right after this happened in Minnesota, 3 black guys go into a gym at their building that they lease. They lease that building.
Yeah.
They go into the gym and just try to work out, and some white dude's in their face like, oh, you guys don't belong here. Get out of here. Dude, you rent the building. What's your building number right now? I'm calling the cops on you. I was like, are you fucking shitting me?
It's none of your business.
It's none of your business. They're not asking you. Yeah.
Are you building security? Are you the owner of the building? Are you are you in a position to, like, it's not your responsibility to,
Yeah. I just don't understand. I don't fundamentally understand racism. I don't. It's one of the, it makes, okay. So I have a lot of thoughts on a lot of things, obviously. When it comes to like religion, politics, all those things, I can draw a good argument for my side on all those things. Racism, I cannot for the life of me figure out the other side, the bad side of racism. Like I cannot, It doesn't make sense. Like, I can make an argument for, like, for instance, being more liberal than conservative and still understanding why conservatives are the way they are. I can understand that.
Sure.
Like, I can logically make sense of that argument. I can understand why people are religious, even though I'm not religious, because I've seen that side of the coin. I understand the benefit to them and how they perceive the world. Racism, the only thing that ever pops up into my head that I can think of is it is just a shortcut to superiority. It is literally just a way for you to feel better than somebody else with absolutely no work whatsoever. And it's just disgusting that still exists.
It's giving in to our animal xenophobia.
Yeah, it's where instincts take over, right?
It really is. It's you're letting your low-level fear of something that is different take over.
Yeah.
That's the long and the short of it. Like, you see someone or something that is different and out of the ordinary for you, it immediately brings up anxiety and fear. And not to be weird and cliche or anything, but fear leads to anger leads to hate leads to suffering. And you can literally, what blows my mind is, like, that popped into my head, and it sounds super goofy, but you can totally see that progression on social media. You can see how people it comes from fear. It always starts with fear. The lady at the dog park who gets confronted by a black guy for politely asking her, hey, will you leash your dog? She's afraid of that guy. For whatever reason, somewhere deep inside of her, she's afraid that this guy is going to hurt her or something, and that immediately makes her angry. That's a fight or flight. She's either going to run away from the situation or fight back. She's fighting back with anger. Fear, anger, or fear, hate, anger,
and
right?
The end
whatever.
result is suffering.
For both of them. The guy, I guarantee that guy didn't want her to lose her job. He wasn't trying to be an asshole or fuck up her life or anything. And she certainly wasn't. She just let her emotion get out of hand, and it shows her the animal side. And it's like, the way she treated the dog was bad too. Like, she literally, instead of just clipping the leash on, she lifts the fucking dog up but clearly that woman was not operating on a logical level. It was pure emotion. And that's not an excuse, but I feel like that's a bit of an explanation. People, even when you see people like flipping out at the coffee shops, it doesn't even have to be a racial thing. Those times where it's like the Karens are like flipping out at the Starbucks barista.
I've watched it.
It's fear first. They're afraid of losing something. They're afraid of not being heard. They're afraid of not getting their way or losing control of the situation or whatever. And they immediately hate the person that is trying to take that control away from them, and they get angry and they suffer. Like, it's super goofy to pull from that Star Wars quote, but the step by step is clear every single time you see one of these outburst videos, regardless of the source of, like, whether it's, you know, black guy getting yelled at or a woman or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can always see that progression of fear, anger, hate, suffering, and it really blows my mind.
I can agree with that. I don't get here's the thing that I don't like. This is the part I don't get. I get the whole fear and the hate and the suffering. What I don't get is, how can you get so mad that, like, in such a short period of time, that you literally just throw all logic out the window, like, period. Like, there is no, like, your brain is 100% on instinct at that point. It's like you're getting attacked by a dog.
Glad you brought that up. Because there's
because if you got a camera in my face and I'm like, I'm going to call the cops on you, get you murdered, you know, it's like, what do you know what you're saying?
Biological. No, they are not. Because there's a different, so there's like an actual biological trigger in your brain that creates a feedback loop. I think
they make a drug that disables that.
But they're called like anger triggers or something like that.
You never see high people like yelling at each other.
That's true. But so, like, when you break, there's like a barrier. Once you break through that and you're angry, it feeds on itself, and it's difficult for you internally to break out of that anger loop. You really just like that's why you don't tell people, hey, just calm down when they're angry.
Yeah, that's not
going to help, because it just feeds this anger loop. And I'm trying to find it. It's not. So I looked up anger triggers, but it's not the initial trigger that makes you angry. There is like a biological switch in your brain that keeps you angry and feeds on itself until the situation dies down enough that the adrenaline goes away, and and other, I'm sure there's other chemicals and stuff that deal with it too. But yeah, it's a biological issue
to fight that. Like we need like you just stab yourself. Like when you're in a park and you find that you're just screaming at people and going angry, you just be like, and then be like,
right.
Oh, and the whole earth just comes back into peace and harmony again.
But yeah, it's a lizard brain thing. It's a deep into your, what is it, the like hypothalamus or something like that. It's like literally the core part of your brain, and it bypasses it. It's really interesting stuff. It literally bypasses the logical, like, processing part of your brain, because you're just fight or flight. It's pure emotion. There is no logic at that point. It's just pure anger. Or fear or sadness. There's a lot of other places that go into it, but
yeah. Well, I had somebody make the comment yesterday that because I'm white, I'm not afraid of police, and I'm like, dude, I am scared shitless of police. Anytime I see lights behind me, anytime I see a cop walk in my direction, I freeze up. I turn into like submissive. I almost lay on the ground and like show my belly, like rub my belly, please. And it's like, but it's a misconception that, because I'm white, I don't fear law enforcement. No, I fear the shit out of law enforcement. I've had some close calls with them. I've had a gun pointed at me, like, in the last 10 years by a law enforcement officer. I don't like that. I don't like that. So it's like, where people think that I don't understand, it's like, I totally do understand the fear of police, because these people are literally given power over you, right? Our society gives police power over you. They enforce the law. If whether you're breaking the law or not, it's like they can abuse their power if they want, or they can even use it legitimately. But at the end of the day, if they want you in the back of that car and they want to take you to jail, you're going. Like, you're not, you can only fight it off for so long. So it's like that perception makes them seem superior. And you stop wondering what they did to earn that superiority, and you just start thinking of them as kind of like this dangerous, scary monster. And I absolutely do. And I want to make that clear to anybody that ever draws that conclusion again, because it wasn't the only person that's ever said that to me. You don't have to be afraid of law enforcement. It's like, no, you should be, to some degree, afraid. That's a natural reaction. When somebody has the authority, like when they walk up to you and you know that when they walk away, they could take you to jail, they could write you a ticket and cost you money, they could take your car away. There's so many things that they're empowered to do that there's nothing you can say or do. Like, they could walk up to you, you could cite every law perfectly to them, you could tell them all the reasons why they're violating your rights. At the end of the day, if they want to take you to jail, they take you to jail. There's like no other way that ends. And I'm like, That is scary. That is legitimately a scary thing. So I do understand the innate fear of law enforcement. But I also know a lot of law enforcement officers that are actually really cool dudes that can, like, brush off a lot. And their intent is never to try to drag people in. Like, that's a last resort, right? I mean, they'll give you every chance in the world to just walk away, if nothing else, just because they're lazy and they don't want to do any paperwork. But I've been in those situations before. But the thing is, you don't know which one's which, right? You don't. Yeah. You don't. Not until you have an encounter, until you exchange a couple of words. Like, I can tell you in the first 3 words talking to an officer that pulls me over in my car whether I'm really super nervous or whether I'm somewhat relaxed. But I am up until that point where I know I'm super tense, right? If the officer walks up the window and is like, how are you doing this afternoon or something like that, then I'm like, okay, a little bit of a pleasantry. I can calm down a little bit. When they walk up to the window and they're like really, really rude and banging on the window and saying license registration, then I'm like, oh, okay, this guy's in a bad mood. I'm just going to relax and just, roll over and take it. But law enforcement is intimidating. That's the thing is, and I think to a degree that's what makes them law enforcement, right? I mean, if they weren't intimidating in any way, shape, or form, like nobody would do it. Everybody would be breaking the law, be like, look at that guy over there. He can't do nothing. It's like intimidation is kind of a big part of their job. And it sucks, man. It sucks for everybody. I don't care who you are. It sucks for fucking everybody when law enforcement tangles with you. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. But just to let you guys know, I have actually had a gun pointed at me by a law enforcement officer before, and it about made me piddle my pants. And it was while I was standing in my own house. So, dude literally had his gun and a flashlight, like this, through my window, aimed at me. And I was like tremoring, and I could barely answer his questions because I was so scared. And I was on the phone because I accidentally set off my alarm, my home alarm. And the response to the home alarm was to walk around the house and look in the windows. And when they saw that I was the person that was inside the house while the alarm was going off, they just decided to pull a gun on me. And they held me at gunpoint until I walked out the front of my house. And then there was another officer there. Luckily he didn't have his gun drawn. He just had his hand on his gun. And I was like, dude, I was freaking out. Like, I was like, dude, do they think I'm the home invader? Because I couldn't speak. I was like, when people point guns at you, it's really hard to talk. So I went out and I showed him my driver's license, and then we all were like, okay, well, that was a big misunderstanding. And they let me go after I showed them my license and that I lived there. And then what scared me is my driver's license had my old address on it still.
Oh no.
So I was like, oh no. They're like, this is not the address, sir. And then they like flipped it over, and it had I had written the address on it previously, because you can write the address on it. Like if you have a change of address and so luckily I'd written that on there, because if I didn't, they would have taken me to jail and processed me to figure out if I actually was the resident of that house. That was scary, man. That was a really lively, scary day. Let's hear. Automator said a lot of these encounters go ballistic when victims decide to argue with the cops. If the cop is wrong, his arrest won't stand. But resisting arrest is not right.
This is going. I disagree, but I really don't want to go. I don't want to go on with this.
Yeah, actually, I agree, because this is one of those things where
this isn't quite the forum for it.
No, people are so separated on this stuff. That's the thing that I found out yesterday, is the mob mentality comes out, right? Everybody has a different view on this, but let's just leave it at this, that I think we can all agree on. Well, not all. Nobody can agree on everything, but if you can peacefully protest, absolutely do. Like, absolutely do. Like, the shit needs to stop. It absolutely does. And try not to hurt and kill people. Like, hurting and killing people doesn't save anybody, especially when those people are innocent and they're just doing their jobs. Same thing goes the other way, too. If you're a police officer and you're being overly brutal and you're hurting and you're killing people, that's not your fucking job. You shouldn't be in law enforcement. You should be in prison. So, knock it off. Be better. And let's move forward. Hey, thank you, Hankin. For the $2 for the hello. He also, he gave us $10 too. He said, how do you feel about the riots all around the place? Now we all got him in this direction. Let's go ahead and get off that topic. But let's just agree to respect that this is a serious problem, and it demands a serious response. Like, this needs to be known. This needs to get out there. It can't be just shoved under the rug. So whether I agree or disagree necessarily isn't the point. The biggest point is that something has to be done about what keeps occurring over and over again, and cops need to be better. They need to be, and that's the thing is, it is literally their job. We're not asking them to do anything that isn't their job. Their job is to serve the community and to preserve human life, regardless. Like, it doesn't matter. It's like preserving life is their number one goal, and when they're not doing that, that's bad. And we got to call that shit out, and we got to stop it, because if you have a ton of bad police officers, you're going to have a lot of problems. And unfortunately, there are times though where, they have to use force, right? But that was not even remotely the case here. And that's why what's happening is happening. Oh, but it is sad. It is sad, but try to be understanding, people. Try to be understanding, because I know yesterday I wasn't very understanding about things, and I changed my mind after I cooled off. And tried to see it from all perspectives. So yeah,
see there?
Yeah.
Emotional response.
Emotional response. Do it every day, man. I call it spraying out of my mangina.
Sure. Which I mean, and that's not to say that it's bad, but it's good. It's good to hear that, like, you took a moment to look back.
Oh yeah, I change my mind all the time
and say like, hey, in that moment, looking back, I was not right.
Yeah.
So.
Just preserve. I think let's just preserve human life, period.
Right.
Like, that's just the end of it. It's like, no matter how mad we are, no matter how much you don't like that BMW driver cut you off in traffic, no matter how much you don't like that the barista gave you your drink and it was 10 degrees too cold or whatever, just like fight that little evil green monster that's inside you that makes you want to just fucking lash out and go berserker mode, and keep a level head and figure out how to get what you want another way. That's the better way to do it. Well, hey, that got us all riled up, didn't it?
Woo!
Night Out said, I love Tacoma police. Well, that's awesome. I mean, most of them are good. I know, trust me, I've had so many encounters with police officers. The majority of them are good. They are. I can legitimately say that, even after having some bad encounters, which I absolutely have. I can safely say that the majority of police do it because they actually enjoy community, they enjoy service, they enjoy their job. And it can be a hugely fulfilling job too, which is crazy. Like, because you never see that part of it, right? You never see the cops that are like, helping people out, trying to get them unstranded if their car's broken down on the side of the road, or giving them a ride somewhere if there's an emergency. And it's like, those are the good stories, but you're never going to hear about those because it's like, it's expected of them. That's the job that they're supposed to do. That's what they're paid to do, is to preserve life and health. So, but I want to say the majority are good though. Like, I know I've had some views on like police using excessive force and stuff. That isn't the majority. Don't judge the entire police force anywhere based on that. Even as much as I want to say Redmond's all like that, but I'm going to try to not go there. I've never had a good encounter with Redmond.
How about them topics, huh?
Yeah, let's do some topics. Why not?
We do have to. We are going to be keeping it a little short again this week because of the SpaceX launch.
Unless it's been scrubbed already. I need to keep an eye on that.
Which some folk are saying it is still raining. It's raining at the launch pad.
That's not good.
Hey, it's okay, Booper. Hey,
did you call your dog Booper?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Because I call my cat Booter. It's like really close.
Daisy Booper. Pooper. Sometimes it's Pooper because she got some wicked poop sometimes.
Oh God, I bet, man. Pitbull poop. You feed them a pretty high protein diet too, huh? Like a lion.
I do try and find the highest protein stuff I can.
Yeah, that's gonna make
reasonably priced.
Reeky turds, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was on keto. That was the worst part about keto was, man, the keto diet makes your poop just, oh shit, it's like next level. Like you got to wear a gas mask. I don't know what it is about the human body, but it's like when you eat a lot of carbs, your poop don't smell that bad. But when you eat a lot of protein, oh God, dude. Ugh.
Gotta balance that out with the fiber.
Yeah, right. So I'm trying to find the SpaceX launch update. There's God, where's the page? I should have bookmarked it the other day. There's a page you can go to where they give you like live text updates. And like tell you like step by step what's going on. That way I'll know if the launch is scrubbed or not. But if the launch isn't scrubbed by noon, we're gonna quit at noon today, and then I'm gonna immediately switch over to Twitch and start streaming like within 5 minutes. And we're gonna try to catch the launch on my afternoon Twitch stream. So be sure, guys, after this, if you'd like to come and join me over there, that would be awesome. And this is Crew Dragon Demo 2. So,
yep, that's a Juan.
Okay, and watch live on NASA. I bet you NASA.gov probably has an update. Oh, here we go. Yep, I got it. 11 minutes ago. NASA SpaceX 2 demo mission is targeted launch today at 3:22 p.m. EDT, so I think that's 22 minutes afternoon here. Correct. At that time, the International Space Station will be flying at altitude of 259. What the hell is a statute mile? Okay, statute mile.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Atlantic off the coast of North Carolina. The Demo 2 mission will serve as an end-to-end flight test to validate SpaceX Crew Dragon transport. Okay, so nothing's canceled as of 11 minutes ago, so that's good.
All right.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited, dude. Like, if they scrub it again, though, I'm gonna have a heart attack because man,
it'll be sad.
It was so. I could not believe how nerve-wracking it was when I streamed the other day about it. Like, I was like all the way up till the cancellation. I was just like, oh my god, this has to go smooth. This has to go smooth. Once it goes smooth, I'll be like so much happier because I just have this like fear in the back of my head that if something goes wrong, this is going to set back space travel like by an ungodly amount. And I've only got a finite amount of life here on this planet, so we can't afford any mess ups, Elon. Hey Dante, thank you for the 5 pound ruse. He said, one of my favorite YouTubers. Thought I'd pop past and say hi. Well, Dante, thank you, and we appreciate the support, man. We do. Brian Jones, thank you for the $10 doolies. He said, just joined. Have you guys seen the Seattle protests? Do we have any protests in Seattle right now? I haven't seen the Seattle ones.
I did see a lot of people talking about it on Twitter. There. I think it's now or soon. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I heard there was one out in front of the White House too. Which that's pretty crazy.
I saw that.
Just keep it peaceful, folks. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do today, though, is I'm not going to watch any more riots on TV because it is way too stressful. Oh, my God. Like, and then what happened, like, last night, I just could not stay quiet, so I started running off the mouth on Twitter, and people were with me, people were against me, but for some reason, well, not for some reason, for a valid reason, people were just very polarized on it.
It's like we were talking about last week. At some point, you have to draw a line, and you have to speak about what you truly believe in.
Yeah, I do a lot. I do a lot,
and it's okay. Like, heck, I was just talking about this last night, even like. And I know we're kind of still going on a non-technical topic, but this does apply to technical topics as well. Like, we can disagree. People this emotional thing. People tend to get caught up in the emotional part of these sort of topics, whether it's Mac versus PC, Xbox versus PlayStation. They get caught up in the. I'm just, hey man, I love PlayStation. They got some of the best games out right now.
I have to agree with you there.
Okay,
I agree.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Come back here. Sorry, got dogs being weird. People tend to come at these sorts of discussions from a point of view of trying to change the other person's mind.
Yeah.
Which is really, really hard. That, in fact, it's near impossible. That's not the point. That shouldn't be the point. Like, you are not going to convince someone who disagrees that you are right.
Yeah.
I'm 34 years old, I think, something like that. Whatever. I'm in my 30s. Okay.
Goddamn youngster.
I am set in my worldview. Like, it is going to be very difficult to rock my view of the world, the things that I believe in, to my core. I still know that you, Jerry, are a good person, despite our differences, despite our disagreements, despite Xbox versus PlayStation or whatever.
Sure.
Like, I know that you're a good person. We can disagree, and that's okay. Like, that's part of what makes life fun is the differences and the you know, what is it? Variety is the spice of life, right?
Well, it'd be really boring if everybody agreed the same thing. There'd be nothing to talk about. So
exactly, but it's people get so upset when it's when people start saying, "Oh, you're stupid. You're a fucking idiot for believing that, for thinking that way." Well, man, look,
I've been there.
Most of the time, it doesn't affect your life, man. Chill the fuck out. Like, it's okay that you have a different point of view.
It's true.
Like, it's true. Okay. It's okay. You're not stopping me from enjoying a PlayStation if I want. You're not stopping me from loading up the Epic Game Store to buy my games when you're a Steam user. You know, like,
oh my God, that argument was cracking me up the other day. I was having people just come after me with pitchforks. Why would you recommend it? It's not even worth free from that. But to some people it is. Come on.
It fucking totally is.
Yeah.
Totally is. I will grab up all those free games. And I'm totally cool with the exclusives. I'm waiting nobody got real pissed off that Final Fantasy VII Remake is exclusive to PlayStation for a year before coming out on PC. Are people up in arms and fire and pitchforks over that? No. I'll wait a year to play it on PC. I'll wait a year to play.
You tweet that shit, they're gonna come after you with a pitchfork, bro.
I don't give a fuck. Like, at some point, like I said, at some point you have to put a foot down. You draw a line in the sand and say, "This is what I say."
Yep.
You can disagree. That's totally cool. I'm not going to hate you for that. You can unfollow me if that's your jam. If you just cannot stand to see that I believe this, too bad. Like, it's okay. At some point, I don't know, for me at least, it's the circles, right? Circles of influence. They're the people that are literally closest to me are the most important. There's a circle outside of that who are still important, but less so in a way, you know.
Yeah. Friends, acquaintances, and strangers.
It goes. Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. Family, friends, acquaintances, strangers. Most everybody occupies that huge outer circle of strangers, and I don't have the emotional bandwidth to care if
That's a
you
good
don't
word.
like my opinion. I just don't. I care if my lady disagrees with me, and to a fundamental level, like there's a reason we're together, is because we have a common ground in the fundamental foundational things that we believe. It's sorry, I got off on a rant, but
No,
look,
I
it
like this.
boils down
This is good.
it boils down to, like, it's okay to disagree. It doesn't make the other person or you a bad person.
Yeah.
I feel there are probably some exceptions, but I don't want to get into extremes and weird outlier, points of data. We're like, I believe that everybody should be this thing, and I'm going to do everything in my power to stop you from being your thing. Like, whatever. It'd be like if the fucking Vikings,
and then
right?
social
the
media
Minnesota
just
Vikings.
makes it harder. That's the other thing, is like social media makes it all harder. Because then what you do is you have a mob mentality on everything.
It's just
Even
weird.
stupid, simple stuff where it's like, I think the sky is red, I think the sky is blue, and the next thing you know, it's like fucking William Wallace facing off with the English. It's like, how did it escalate to this level? In real life, it would never ever escalate to that level, but now everything escalates to that level, and that's the part that actually does kind of drive me a little bit nutty. But I'm glad that I got the tools to fix it. Like at least like social media networks are giving you the tools to fix it. Where it's like, if somebody's just being super negativity and bringing nothing but negative to you, you can just push a little button and then they just go off into the silence, and they can still yell at the wall and you don't have to deal with it. Which I quite
and that's
like.
Okay too.
Yeah,
that's okay too.
That's way okay.
Is to remove yourself. That's fine.
That's one thing I do want to say about from a technological standpoint is own your space. Treat your online space. Doesn't matter if it's Facebook, doesn't matter if it's Twitter, doesn't matter if it's Reddit. Curate your space. Those are your houses online, right? You spend a lot of time there. Those are your personal spaces. If you don't want somebody in your personal space, then you just shut them up and ignore. If they want to kick and scream and be like, "Oh, you're silencing me or you're censoring me," no, none of that applies. You are literally. It's the same as if you let the Kirby guy come into your house to sell you a vacuum, and he destroys your carpet and destroys your blinds. True story. This actually happened to me. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. And the dude's like, no, I can fix this. I'm like, dude, I'm calling the cops if you don't get the fuck out of my house right now. Dude's out of my house, close the door. I never hear from Kirby again. See, that was my mute button, right? It's like, it just shoved him out and just closed the door. The Kirby guy can still go out and bitch about his, this guy that he destroyed his house and got kicked out. That's fine, but I ain't going to listen to it. I'm done. You pissed me off. Get out. So don't ever feel bad about that. Don't let people like intimidate you and be like, oh, because you're silencing me, somehow you're this terrible person and this. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Just curate your space and you will be a lot saner. And trust me, I know that because when I do curate my space, I have a much better day than when I'm just like, I get convinced that, I don't want to silence anybody. I want everybody to have a word. And then I just sit there and it's like, it just turns into a toxic cesspool. So just use what's available to you to protect your personal. It's like the personal space from Rick and Morty. Do you remember? Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've seen a couple.
Okay, well, they do a show called Intergalactic Cable. They did 2 of them where they run like these commercials in alternate realities. And one of them is the personal space show, which is like this guy that goes into like this big dark like room with doors, and he's like, so he can be alone, and his personal space can't be violated. And if he hears any sound, he gets like really freaked out. And then he doesn't like a skin violating his personal space, so he literally rips his skin off of his body because he didn't like how close his skin was to him, so it was violating his personal space, so he rips it off. So it's like it's an exaggeration, but it is. It's like there is some truth there. It's like you do have some personal space, and if you let everybody breach that bubble, you'll go insane. Yeah. You'll go insane. So maintain that bubble, even if that means shutting me the fuck up. And I've told people that before too. Like if what I say triggers you to the point where you're going like insane and you're like doxing me and attacking me and shit, just calm down. Just walk away, man. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Some fat guy on the internet disagreed with you. Is it really worth you wasting your life any more than it's worth my life wasting? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's mutually assured destruction. It's dumb. Like, just move on. Go, and I'm not saying like just go find people that agree with you, but it's like a good conversation is where 2 people can agree to disagree, but both add something to the conversation. Yeah, if that's not happening, then end it.
If you just come at it from an angle of like, I'm not trying to change their mind, I'm just trying to express my view.
Yeah.
That's and like I know that this person has a different point of view, and that's okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
I
got a
don't
couple
know.
people like that on my channel. Like Donnie Lama couldn't be more of a polar opposite when it comes to politics. But it's like we know how to talk about it in a way that's actually interesting, and we both know when to back off when it's getting too heated. You know what I mean? It's like we can take each other's temperature. Hey, Shika Dance. That's my new stalker. That's my stalker.
Nice.
Shika Dance, Shika Dance,
Nice.
Shika Dance. He follows me around the internet, and I love him.
Right on.
I wonder if that's really his picture right there. Hey, Shika Dance, did you actually use your real picture for your avatar? Because you, sir, are a sexy man. I'm just going to throw that out there. Thank you for the $2. Dante, thank you for the 10 poundaroos. He said, I'm reaching 30 this year. Stop bragging, bro. Come on. And the art of a good discussion is to debate each other's opinions. There isn't a right or a wrong, but we all have our own views and opinions. I agree. The only thing that I'm going to qualify that with is that there's things that are fundamentally wrong. Like, I love that mixer board. Who makes it?
It's Behringer.
Oh, it's a Behringer? Did I tell you? Yeah. I started out with a Behringer, and then I moved to a Mackie, and then I went to a Yamaha. And Behringer is actually pretty good stuff. Does it got a USB interface?
It does. Yeah, that's why I got it.
Check this out. This is what I'm giving him. So this is a Audio Technica AT2050.
You should just put that on your porch. I'll come by later.
So you want to grab it today?
Could I?
Yeah, I'll check it out there if you want to grab it today. I just need to find.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'm doing a stream after this, and then I'll look for the mount, because you need the mount. Without the mount, this thing sucks. You have to have the shock mount for it. Otherwise, it picks up every little thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll find the shock mount for it. I know I have it. I've seen it within the last 3 days, so it'll be easy to find.
Does it have a what is it? A 1/4-inch screw on the bottom of it?
Sure does, sir. Yep, the standard one for all mic stands.
Yeah, I have.
No, this doesn't. You need the mount. See?
Oh, it grabs around.
Yeah,
it.
so it drops into the shock mount like this, and then the shock mount's like 3 rubber bands. Very similar to the basket on this one.
Different.
So I'll hook you up with that. And then I highly recommend that you get, this doesn't have an internal pop filter. So I would highly recommend that you go to Guitar Center or order online. They're like $10 for a pop filter. Just get one of the ones that's like spandex material or whatever. They work fantastic. Or just stick a sock over it. I've been seeing a lot of streamers do that lately. Yeah, just stick a sock over it. It honestly works great. It works great. You stick a sock over your microphone. It's perfect. And then you just take it off and throw it in the laundry. So it's actually pure genius.
Does it have Spitiff? No, I don't think so.
What?
Oh, somebody was asking if it had Spitiff. I don't think so.
No, I don't think they'd put that on a mixer board.
USB. That's optical, right? Like,
yeah,
that's the optical.
I don't think they would put optical on a switching board unless it was like specifically for live streaming or something like that.
Yeah.
For musical stuff, it's all going to be XLR and Toslink.
Yep. It's just.
Or not Toslink. What do they call it?
It's the
one half inch. Is it quarter or half?
Yeah,
it's quarter. Okay,
like a guitar.
That's right. Like guitars and professional microphones, or sorry, professional headphones have. How many inputs does it have for mics? Is it 2?
I think it's 2 XLR inputs, but I think technically 8 total.
Oh, that's cool. I'm actually looking to. I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I'm still too poor people to do it. But I want to get the Rodecaster. So everybody else is getting the Go XLR, and I didn't even know that that Rodecaster came out. But I looked at it, and it's like it has way more inputs for microphones. And even though it doesn't have all like the streaming features that the Go XLR has, all the features that I need that the Go XLR has can all be done in software.
I do think so. Like I'm kind of gonna trial this for a bit, but I do think I want to get the Go XLR Mini. Mostly because like what I hear is, and from some that have experience with it, it actually shows up as like a bunch of sound cards.
It does.
And so you can actually point individual software to the different sound cards. So like Discord can go out to this sound card, and your game can go to this one, and then you have the sliders to adjust each thing individually. Yeah, which I think is pretty cool.
Whereas with this one, it's just one channel to the computer, and then you adjust the levels on the mixer board itself.
Yeah,
which doesn't give you as much control. Plus, the cool thing with the Go XLR is you can control it with the Stream Deck. Mm-hmm. It's got motorized sliders, so you could literally have a button to like fade the sound out and fade the sound in. It would physically move the slider.
Oh, that's cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude, it's really freaking cool. Motorized sliders is something you don't see on cheap equipment. Hey, Nico, thank you for the $4. Said the greatest technology is the toilet. I can't argue with that. Toilet technology is pretty badass.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's one of those technologies where it's like we all use it, right? Here, I gotta fart. Hold on. Oh, did that pick up on the mic?
RTX voice not on.
Oh no, the fart filter wasn't on. Damn it. Oh, whew.
Mini doesn't have motorized sliders. That's okay. The thing is, like, I just don't have $400 to drop on the
I didn't know
full
the
size
Mini
one.
didn't have the motorized sliders. Oh man,
I'm okay with that.
How much does the Roadcaster cost? That thing's. Let's see here.
See, now we're talking about tech. Okay, you guys.
We've eventually got there. Hey guys, you got to let us just talk about what we talk about.
It
It's
only
how we
took
get
an
warmed
hour
up.
to get in. You know, yeah.
Well, it's okay. My other show usually takes about 3 hours before we talk about the topics, and then we end the show like after 15 minutes. So the Roadcaster is $599.
$599. Yeah. Damn, son.
So it's even more expensive than the Go XLR.
Rode is tip top, but holy crap, that's. Whew.
You know what's cool about this thing though is it has 4 real-time monitors and 4 headphones. So you could have 4 people mic'd up with headphones, all getting live feedback from each other. That's pretty cool. And it's USB-C.
Oh, now see, that's cool.
And it has micro SD. So I'm guessing that micro SD is probably for, like, I don't know, adding effects or updating firmware or something.
Or you could probably local record without like if you could take it with you somewhere and
this is the feature. This is the feature,
I'm
dude.
guessing.
I'm gonna get one because now this makes sense. So if we ever want to have a guest on the show, you can actually connect your phone to the Roadcaster via Bluetooth and have them join in as a separate audio feed. So you can actually take a phone's Bluetooth, connect to it, and have it be a sound input. So if you want to bring somebody in from a phone call and have like bi-directional, like they hear what you're saying and you hear what they're saying. Oh, dude, that's pretty damn cool. I don't think that's a Go XLR feature.
I'm not sure if it's got if it can take like a aux input, I don't see why not. You could just you could have a male to male 3.5 millimeter plug if you've got a headphone jack, Mr. iPhone guy.
Yeah, most phones don't these days.
I disagree. I'd say most still do.
Well, okay, if you talk about the entire plethora of Android phones, I'd agree with you. But I'm just saying, for any one phone that's out there, the iPhone is still reigning supreme.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So it has the phone call effect. Oh, the sound effects and jingles. You can actually drag your sound effects onto the SD card, onto the computer through the USB interface, and then you can activate them and assign them to the pads. So you can have like real-time sound effects on your show. That's pretty cool. I know you can do that with the Go XLR too.
Yeah.
And it says your pristine signal can also be enhanced with legendary audio processor Apex Audio Exciter, and Big Bottom. These have been incorporated in the audio processing section of the Roadcaster Pro. You will sound rich, warm tone, only focused in professional studios. Okay, they're just saying that their mic amp has a lot of tomfoolery with it. Oh, and it also has a compressor, limiter, de-esser, and noise gate all built in as hardware. That's all stuff that I normally have to use. All but one of those. I only have a compressor in this, nothing else. So
nice.
So
yeah, I see that on here.
Yeah, do you have a knob that says compressor on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes in handy, dude. Especially if you're in a loud room, it sucks. But if you're in a quiet room, it's actually really, really cool, because then you can set it up so even if you get like 3 feet away from the microphone, you're the same volume. See, like, check this out.
I'm really excited to use this.
I got my compressor on now, and now you can hear, like, when I stop talking, you'll hear my background noise is loud.
Oh, you got a noise gate.
Okay, so I have a noise gate, so it's taking it out. But watch, the cool thing about the compressor is now when I move away from the microphone, even when I'm way back here and I'm even talking over here, my volume stays the same relative. I can, like, talk at the ceiling. It plays with the audio quality. What's that?
Can hear probably your AC.
Yeah, it gets loud. The further I get away, it's having to bring up the level of the AC too. So now, but you still can hear me. Whereas with the compressor off, when I'm this far away from the microphone, then I don't sound as loud as when I'm right up on it like this. It really affects the volume, but it also drops out the background noise, which is nice. Dude, this is a cool sumbitch, but God, $599,
$600.
That's a lot of coinage. That's a lot of coinage. Well, luckily for me, I have a contact at Rode that keeps sending me everything but the thing they're supposed to be sending me.
Bullshit, man.
So maybe I'll hit them up and be like, hey, can you throw a Roadcaster my way?
I'll trade you. You take all this shit back and give me one of those Roadcasters and we'll have a deal.
Actually, I need their wireless lav setup. Like, it's something that I really, really do need.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I would. Rode is awesome. If I had more money, I would get, like, Jerry's got the NT1. That's just tip top.
This is my favorite. My favorite microphone.
I've listened to so many YouTube videos comparing various microphones and whatnot, and that it's so butter. But there's this one.
The Shure?
There's no. It's something completely different.
Hey Chase, how's it going, buddy?
I can find it.
Thank you for that membership, Jose. Thank you for the $2. You said the key Windows something 20. Is it fake or real? The key Windows something?
Like buying cheap keys.
I've
purchased a few cheap Windows keys for 18 or 20 bucks, and as far as I can tell, they work just fine.
So technically they're illegal, but they will work, and there's nothing Microsoft can do about it. So it's just up to you whether you want to do it or not.
It's the same as buying game keys from like G2A. Okay, yeah. The thing is, what's probably happened is somebody used a stolen credit card to purchase the key legitimately in a foreign country. So cheaper just because of exchange rates and stuff, and are reselling it at probably a very small markup to make a very small percentage off of it, but it's volume, right?
Yeah, with operating systems, it's a little bit different than that, though, because I actually, when I worked at Microsoft, this was going on. And so what happens is the OEM key blocks don't get fully utilized, and then what they do is they buy them on the cheap from basically employees that leak the codes, and then that's why they can sell them, because they're paying like less than like $5 a key, and then they sell it to you for like 20. Yeah, and the reason they work is OEM keys cannot be canceled out of the system. It's actually a Microsoft policy. They can't do it because if there's ever a computer in the field, if they fuck up even once and they cancel an OEM key and it's a mission critical business machine, Microsoft will get sued for billions of dollars.
I think an old company I used to work for got a bit of a finger wagging for I don't want to give too much details because I'm not trying to out the guy, but was basically reselling OEM keys like that. Not the keys flat out, but we were putting them on new machines, different machines. And I think he got a bit of a finger wagging for that after I had left.
We were told at Microsoft if we ever sold MSDN keys, because as Microsoft employees and developers, we had unlimited access to keys. We could just request OEM keys, they'd get approved, and we get a block of keys so that we could just burn them in testing. And there were some employees that were caught selling those keys. And that's big no-no. And because they're untraceable. That's the reason why Microsoft can't get rid of them. If they knew exactly who had them and who leaked them, then they could cancel them out of the system. But the problem with the OEM keys is that they're only given to businesses like Dell and HP and stuff like that. So, and they're given out in huge blocks. So if you're buying a key, chances are it's an OEM key. And when you type it in, the way that you can know is open up your system information after you enter the key. And usually you'll see something under there that'll say like Dell or HP or OEM license or Microsoft internal test. They'll have some kind of associated thing with that key once you register and activate it. But you're at no risk of being canceled. They are legitimate keys. They're just not allowed to be sold on the open market. So the illegal activity is the person selling it to you, not you using it. Like, if you have the key and you're using the key, there's absolutely nothing Microsoft can do about it. So just at that point, it just comes down to an ethical issue. Like, what are you comfortable with? And yes, they do work. I mean, for $20, you're. And here's the thing too: is Microsoft's given away the operating system about 1 billion times already, and they've given away upgrades, and they're trying to get everybody on the operating system. So Microsoft really doesn't give a shit if you steal Windows, because they want you on Windows 10. They make more money by you being on Windows 10 than they'd ever make selling you a license. So just keep that in mind. Let's see here, Jose. Hope that answers your question. Hey, Scott, thank you for the $2. Said I'm from Minnesota. Thanks for the distraction. You are very welcome, sir. All right, so on to the topics for the final hour. Yeah. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. So go ahead and pick one and let's run. Yep.
Before we start with that, I spammed a link in the YouTube chat there for a microphone that I think is pretty sick.
I want to see it.
It's called a Copper Phone by Placid Audio, and if you go down, the link will show you.
Steampunk.
That looks sick as fuck, right? But then you scroll down and you can actually get an audio like comparison, and I love the. I just love what it does to the audio.
Is it warm? Is that what it is? Like, here, let me play something.
This is a male voice
some of those SoundCloud links.
On a standard
awesome.
SM58.
Because just hearing it is better than me trying to describe it.
Recorded on a Placid Audio copper.
Oh, it makes you sound like an old-timey broadcaster from like back in the day. Okay.
I love it. It's $275.
You know, there is an effect that you can just add in OBS that makes you sound exactly the same.
And I'll have to look into that because
Yeah.
I absolutely love that kind of, it's all kind of crackly and a little bit old timey, and I think that would be just super cool.
Interesting. Okay, so hold on here. There's a female singing clip. You guys can hear these on the stream. This is with it.
Over the rainbow, way
Yeah, it basically pulls all the bass and mid out of it and makes it like it makes it sound like AM radio, like a really narrow band.
I love it's got that kind of like early 20s kind of radio sound, and I think that's just super cool.
So they must be just building like an old. This must be like an old timey microphone, like old time technology, because they're doing it with hardware. Obviously, it doesn't look like they're doing it with software, unless crammed inside of that tube is like a bunch of audio processing stuff.
Right. No, it says passive magnetic moving coil transducer, tuned ported resonant chamber, high quality XLR connector, copper housing. It seems like modern equipment, but they've like built it in such a way that to replicate that old timey sound.
I wonder if I can EQ and do that. Like if I just turn up my treble all the way and turn this down, like I don't know, does this kind of sound like it at all?
A bit. It's real. It's real.
Let me pull some
flat,
mid out of
like
it. Hold on here. Let's get some. Like a little bit of mid, Hello, today on the AM radio, we're gonna sell you some Supermax. Opium is good for you. Buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
They've got vitamin C and shit, and they will make you feel better.
It is very similar. That's interesting.
So I just EQ'd that. You could do that with your mixer board right there. So this is about. Well, hold on, a little too much bass. I don't have that big of balls. All right, there we go. So now I'm back to my. But yeah, that's all just EQ'd. I added treble and pulled bass, and then just messed with the mid a little bit.
Interesting. I'll have to, and then some. I don't know, get some of that crackliness in there. But I would love to have that as part of my stream. That would be super freaking cool. Just.
Yeah, you take me as the steampunky type.
Oh, it's one of my favorite things, man.
It's a cool looking microphone though. It looks like they literally took like copper plumbing pipe and end caps and like drilled it all out, and like it looks homemade.
Yeah,
like I do like that. That's pretty cool. $275 though. I mean, I know you can replicate that sound using just software. I think
for sure.
Yeah. So, but I think this is more for like people that want it to look cool with their setup, and. Because it is. I mean, hands down, that is a sexy microphone. Like, I would love to have that just like sitting in front of my face, even if it wasn't the microphone. Like, have you ever seen the live streamers? I've been noticing this lately, where they'll have like a really cool looking microphone, but it's like a shitty microphone that has bad audio, and then they'll have like a lavalier mic or something right here, and this is the one that's actually picking up their audio while they're gaming and stuff. But they just have a big mic in the picture, because they want it to look cool. And people like that. I don't know. There's just something about a big, sexy looking mic jammed up in your face hole that people seem to get excited about.
This is super, super cool looking. I dig it.
Placid Audio. I've never even heard of this. That's spendy though, man. $275 is approaching the cost of this. I mean, or just about the cost of a Rode NT1. And this is like the gold standard for recording instruments.
Yeah. Oh, Jose says he has the Rodecaster Pro and he's selling it for $400.
Oh, you don't say, Jose.
He's trying to buy up a bunch of Windows keys, so he's selling.
He needs to sell that so that he can afford some Windows keys.
You'll get four legitimate.
I don't know. Should I trust Jose to like mail me something when he's like trying to get cheap OEM keys off the Russian market? I don't know. Hey, Jose, I'm gonna think about that though, because I actually do want a Rodecaster. My only concern is like if I bought it from a private party, it probably still wouldn't be under warranty. And this is stuff you got to have under warranty. You really do. But hey, Jose, I appreciate it, man. Let me think about it. How do I get in touch with you, bro? Like tweet me. Like send me one of those Twitter things after the show, and I'll hit you back later, because I am seriously thinking about doing the Rodecaster. I'm also curious why you're getting rid of it. Like, what didn't you like about it? Or did you find another upgrade? That Placid Audio mic, that is pretty cool though. $275 though. Are they actually selling those for I mean, who's buying those at $275?
I don't know.
I guess like steampunk. You know who that would be the perfect microphone for is that battle station picture that I showed of the steampunk guy where the entire room was steampunk. Remember that picture?
Yeah.
That's the microphone for that dude. That microphone was designed for that dude. Let's see here. Shikadance. What's up, dude? He said David Letterman had an old mic on his desk for years and it was not working. Oh yeah, I remember that. I think Johnny Carson did too, where he had like Basically, it was a mic that had no cable connected to it. It was just a big mic sitting on the desk, but everybody still had like shotgun mics and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's all for a look, right? Because it's not practical to have one microphone when you're doing multiple guests. Because as you can clearly see, when I turn the microphone around, I sound completely different when I come in this side. Because the way the pickup is, it's very directional, so I sound completely. So it'd be really hard to have, unless. And if you set the microphone here, then each person has to sit like 3 feet away, which means you have to jump the gain up, and you lose a lot of the bass.
Right, but then like with this Yeti, I can talk at the front of it and set it so that I can also talk to the back of it, and it should
sound quite a bit different still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe I got the wrong one. Is that better?
Yep, there you go. You sound exactly like you should. So it's got a dual pickup.
Had the wrong setting. Yeah.
Oh, then you're gonna love this because this has the same thing. This is a dual pickup if you flip the switch.
That's cool. I mean, I literally have like no use for that, but there you go.
This one's pretty buttery too. Have you ever seen one of these? So this is Audio Technica. Oh God, what do they call it? Hypercardioid. So check this out. This is gonna trigger some people. Listen for the pop. All right, this is buttery. How's it going, guys? Ooh. Oh, you like that? Does that make me sound pretty sexy? Welcome to Tech Talk with Barnacules. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about. Isn't that a nice sound though? Yeah. So this microphone is cool because it's very, very directional. So I could just take it and set it like 3 feet away from me on my desk. Hold on, let me see if I can get it just to rest here. Come on, stay, damn it. Stay. No, stop. Stop. I gotta set my iPhone on like way too cable. All right, so you guys can't even see the microphone now, can you? Mm-mm. So it's like way down on my desk, but it's pointing at me, right? Because it's a shotgun. It's a near field shotgun. So now I can be this far away from it, and you still like maintains my voice. My voice is natural. Yeah. And if I pull out the EQ, so this is neutral. So now I should just sound basically like I do in real life. Like this is with no audio manipulation whatsoever. This is just a clear signal. But the nice thing about this one is most shotguns will blow out if you get them too close because they got such a sensitive pickup. And this one doesn't. You can get really close to it and be like, "Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, is that nice and buttery? Oh, you know you want it. Yeah." Isn't that cool though? Because and the cool thing is, it doesn't have to be pointed at you. All it has to do is be pointed into the audio stream. So, like for instance, I can have it just like. See, watch as I bring it in. Like check. It's pointing up in front of my face, and the reason for that being is it's designed to hang like this over your head, like from a stand. Like if you ever see people that are doing, the guys that have the little shotgun booms. Yeah, Yeah, and the cool thing is it has really good off-axis rejection. Like so you don't hear the air conditioner in the back as much. Like watch how sensitive this is the direction. So check. Wow. check. Isn't that crazy? Like
that's really good.
Like now it's complete. You hear me just a little bit, and then you hear me a bunch. Even this far away, you can see as long as I'm in the audio stream, it's perfect. But as soon as I pull myself out of the audio stream, then you don't hear me nearly as well as when it's like right there or way up above my head, even like just pointing down on my head. Check. I mean, that sounds clean, right? That would be clean audio.
Yeah.
And then I've got this. This is a Rode. People get so triggered when I unplug phantom power without turning it off.
Seems okay to me.
All right, so now this is a Rode NT1 shotgun mic. This is a long field microphone, so this is designed to pick you up from like a mile away. So you can have this on your camera like way across the room and still pick it up really good. But then if you turn it, it rejects the sound pretty well off access. And then if it's pointed right at you, it picks you up. And this one's actually this one's been around for a long time, and it's internally powered. So if you don't have a phantom power source, it works just fine, and it's got a pretty good wind filter, so you can just put, if you're out in like a windy storm or something, it's just like gale force wind, you be like, "Hey guys, how's it going today? I'm going to talk to you about this," and it's all super bassy. So every one of these microphones has, a good job, but this one's not as good when it's just pointing down in front of your face. Like it kind of makes your voice a little muddy. So this one has to be pointed like right at your face. Yeah. This one's like if you talk down here, see, it's like, oh, there's not much going on there, but hey, what's going on? But then the other one, this one's really, really good if it's just anywhere in the stream of audio. But this one's got to be close. This one's designed to work moderately far away. This one's designed to work from like infinitely far away. So it's like there's a different microphone for everything. And then these ones obviously are super near field, so which is what you want if you're in a studio. And now we're back online with the OG.
Hey, and we're back.
And this one's going to sound the best, obvious, because it has the largest pickup in it.
Right.
Let me get some bass
And all the EQ and all that
yeah,
stuff.
you got to add in that butter EQ. Let's just take a seat on your subwoofer right now, and I'm going to take you on a little ride.
Oh yeah. Smooth jazz.
Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots.
Oh, that was weird. You were kind of getting cut out there.
Oh, was I? Do I have RTX on? Let me see. Nope, RTX is in fact off. Weird. Huh. I must have overdrove the bass. But then this board, of course, I have effects on a pedal, so I can just push the little pedal. Well, usually, hold on here. Check. Hey, what's up, guys? Check. Woo! Yeah. Be today on FM, and AM. Pork and beans. But this one you have to like move the dial. Now I sound like Satan. Yeah. So here, let me turn that off. That's why I want to get like a Rodecaster, because you can do all those effects with the Stream Deck, and you don't have to like reach over and manipulate knobs and step on pedals and stuff. So I'm excited about that.
That'll be fun.
Let's see here. Okay, I think we read through those. All right, so let's talk about. Let me check the launch. Make sure we're still on schedule for that. With about an hour and 5 minutes remaining until the launch. EDT liftoff time. SpaceX Demo 2 launch countdown is proceeding according to schedule. A weather update is coming soon. Although rain in the launch area has let up, some conditions are still no-go, including lightning. Uh-oh. Damn it. If they scrub another launch, I'm going to be so sad.
Yeah, well, they'll try again on Sunday, if I remember right.
Man, that's got to be so expensive, because every time they do that, they have to, like, defuel the rocket, and then they lose a bunch of evaporation. The LOX evaporates. So
damn.
It probably costs them, like, $1 million every time they have to, like, refuel it. That's crazy. All right, so topics. Do you want to talk about the 25 technologies that changed the world?
Oh, sure.
Will I step away momentarily?
Yeah, all right.
sorry. The bowels need what the bowels need. I'm gonna go test out that toilet technology. Oh my god, I'm getting old.
All right, so I'll spam the link there in chat, and I thought this would be interesting because it'd give us a lot of. Excuse me. Now I got crazy hiccups for some reason. Boom. Okay. So I thought this would be interesting because it would give us a lot of different things to kind of talk about. They talk about everything from the iPhone, right? So there's a top, or not top. It's not like necessarily an ordered list or anything, but just 25 technologies that have changed the world. They talk about the iPhone, which, hey, whether you like it or not, like, you have to admit that the iPhone really revolutionized cell phones. The whole concept of smartphones wasn't invented with the iPhone, but you have to agree that they really made it approachable, consumable, popular. So that's pretty cool. Wi-Fi is another one on here. Like, come on, everybody can agree. Like, fucking Wi-Fi, man. The Internet of Things. This one's a weird one for me because, like, it's kind of Wild West. Like, I dig the whole Internet of Things concept, right? Where, like, you know, all the smart devices, my TV and the Google Home and my cell phone and washing machine and stove and thermostat all can, like, talk to each other and stuff. But at the same time, it seems super Wild West, right? There isn't really any. It doesn't seem to be any good regulation. They're not canned bread. That's a good technology that changed the world. Spotted dick.
That was a good thing to come back to. You talk about spotted dick in a can,
right? Well, somebody had mentioned canned bread, and spotted dick is like it's basically raisin bread in a can.
I
noticed you coming in. Probably longevity. It's super moist in there for probably years. Honestly, but it's the English. What do you do? It's moist. The fucking English.
All right, so what are the technology I missed while I was firing out that turd torpedo?
We talked about the iPhone. Whether you like it or not, whether you use it or not, you have to agree that the original iPhone was the catalyst to our current smartphone.
Yeah, you wouldn't have Android without iPhone. iOS is literally the genesis of Android.
The remote control for your life nowadays. Yep. Like you literally, Like everything is there.
I want you to publicly acknowledge though that you would not have Android without iPhone.
Oh, for sure. No, absolutely. There wouldn't be the slate of mobile devices that are available if it hadn't been for the iPhone really making it mainstream and popular and accessible and consumable. For sure.
Apple caught Microsoft with their pants down, and it all was like that was when everything started.
I owned a Palm Trio at one point, which was a smartphone. Like I had my email on there. I had text messages. I could do Excel spreadsheets. I
remember Palm. Palm was kind of like lagging behind everybody else, right?
Well, they were almost the only ones. BlackBerry was another big one at the time too. But iPhone, those were all so business oriented.
Yeah, same thing with Windows. Remember Windows Mobile 6, like where they just had the same operating system for like 5 years and never like improved anything.
But iPhone brought that concept, that accessibility to the masses, in my opinion. They did it right. Because as cool as the Trio was, and I used a lot of the functionality of that quite a bit, it was super awkward. It was really it wasn't very user friendly. It was kind of complicated. And this would have been 12 years ago or more than 12 years ago.
I do miss the physical keyboards though. Like the physical keyboards.
I miss a physical keyboard.
Yeah.
I had a first generation Galaxy phone, one of the first Samsung Galaxy phones.
Yep.
And the Sprint version slid sideways, like you to open the keyboard. I loved that. Super cool. I do miss a physical keyboard. I think nowadays with the way like the screen sizes and stuff are, it's kind of unfeasible.
We've adapted, right? We've adapted to the new technology, but I remember my favorite phone of all time as far as typing speed. Like I think I've exceeded it now on an iPhone, but like back in the day, I had the HTC 1000, which was like a $2,000 smartphone that was like this big. I'm not even kidding. Like it would not even hardly go in your pocket. Like my biggest jeans. And it had a camera on it. It was front facing and rear facing. It was the only one that did by turning the camera. It literally was on a little dial. You could rotate the camera, and it had like a full size QWERTY keyboard like on the bottom of it, where you could like hold it with two hands and just go to town. Yeah. And man, I could type stuff. And it ran Windows Mobile 6, but oh my god, when the iPhone came out, I was just side by side. It just looked like Stone Age technology.
What was that one? The where the screen like rotated out of the thing, you'd flip the thing out. It was like a T-Mobile exclusive.
I want to say it was Nokia. It wasn't the Taco phone. It was
no.
What was the thing called?
Sidekick.
Yeah, Sidekick.
Thank you. If they made a new one of those, I'd be very interested. The Juke, Samsung Juke. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I remember the Sidekick. That was actually a pretty popular phone back in the day.
The Juke slid up. Yeah.
Dude, they're still selling for $125, man. The nostalgia. Not even shitting you, man, on eBay right now. All day long, that's what they're going for.
Matrix phone. You can get you can get a refreshed of the Matrix phone for $100. It's by Nokia. Just type in like Matrix phone. It's the 8110, and they did a refresh of that a few years back, and it's like $100. You can totally do that.
I want to see like Ben Heck tear one of these old ones apart, and like put brand new innards from an Android phone, like so that you have the Sidekick with like a functional keyboard and everything, but it's like running on like one of the new Qualcomm processors.
Right.
That would actually be pretty awesome.
And so after talking about mentioning the iPhone, at least we went on to Wi-Fi, which. Come on, everybody can agree Wi-Fi is pretty badass. But and then Internet of Things. And so this was one where it's like, man,
that's one that a lot of people got that they didn't even realize. That was like a thing that crept up on a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's still super like Wild West. You hear about like these botnets and stuff that take over everything from like your wireless cameras to your refrigerator and use them for DDoS stuff. And it still seems it's like super unregulated, I guess, because it's like everybody has like a different way of implementing their particular flavor of thing.
Yep.
And it's super weird. I like the concept. I like the idea that like I can talk to my thermostat from my phone on the way home, or I can check I could potentially check my security cameras from anywhere.
Yep.
You know, that kind of a thing. Heck, to such a point where like they actually have like, you know, I could get the stove preheating before I come home, stop by Papa Murphy's, and boom, the stove's already at 4 1/4, and I can just pop it in and go.
Dude, they have refrigerators that will literally find out when you're low on stuff. Like
Yeah.
it'll figure out from the weight on the panel like how much milk is left in the carton and like order it when it gets low. It's crazy.
I was just looking at a Samsung refrigerator yesterday that like you swiped and it would show you I think it just takes a quick picture of the inside of the thing, but you could tap on an item and list it. Like you could there's like a list of all of it'll try to identify things just on its own, but you can like say, oh, that's a bowl of apples, or that's my milk, that's my chicken, or whatever, and it'll keep track, and it'll tell you, oh, you're low on milk, you should probably buy some. And I'm like, that was pretty freaking cool.
There's one at CES, dude. There's one at CES that the whole front was a screen, and if you pushed a button, the screen would go away and it would be see-through glass, so you could see inside, but it wasn't really see-through. It was camera trickery. And so the screen, it looked like you were looking into the fridge. Even when you opened the door, it looked exactly like it, right? Like you were looking through glass. But it was insulated and it was a screen. And the cool thing is it had what do they call them? It had a scale on each of the shelves, but the scale, the way that it could triangulate is you could set 5 objects on it, and it could figure out by the bias of the weight of the objects. It could use like heuristics and figure out like what the milk was, what the meat was, and it could tell you how much was left in the carton. Like without even being able to see through the carton, it could be like, oh, there's likely only this much volume left in the carton. Would you like to reorder milk? Yes, I'd like to reorder milk. And then it'd say like, oh, milk's on the way. This is when it'll be delivered. And then it just shows you like what you're almost out of on the front of the thing when you walk by it. It shows you like what you're low on. And it's crazy. And you can even program in like meals that you want and stuff like that, and it'll tell you what ingredients you need, and you just push a button and it orders all the ingredients from a shopping set, and then they deliver it to your house. You put it in the fridge, and then the fridge recognizes all the ingredients there, and then it puts a little check mark next to it that says this meal is now ready to be made.
I could see too where we get to a point where there's a more like RFID tags on product, and it'll do it that way. It'll know, oh, you have this milk in there, you have this package of whatever, and it'll know, and then combined with all that other data, like it can tell you.
And plus RFIDs are cheap, right? So
it's nothing.
I think you're right.
And they're doing more of that. Like Walmart has a test store where they're doing all kinds of different like automative stuff where like they'll have like robots stocking the shelves, and you can just like that Amazon store in Seattle where you can just basically walk out. You just pile everything in your pockets and walk out.
The one where Linus stole tampons?
Right. I remember that video. Such clickbait. But yeah, man, that kind of thing. I'm it's a weird, we're in that new phase of Internet of Things sort of technology where it's like it's really crazy right now, but I think it has super potential, and I'm stoked for it.
Yeah, a lot of people were mad about that store because they're like, there's too many ways that you could steal from it, like with using like RFID blocking bags and stuff like that and tricking the cameras. But they're like the number of losses that they suffered over like the first 6 months that store was open was like 10% of the normal losses of any other store just from shoplifting. So even though it wasn't perfect, it took so much more technical skill to steal from that store and not be noticed. So it ended up working out. So that'll probably be how all stores are in the future, especially with pandemics like we're having right now. I think that's going to be how things go. Like, honestly.
I think so. I think so, for sure. Let's see, drones. I think drones, that's a good one.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
At any given point when I go outside now, if I sit outside for more than like 10 minutes, I can hear a and see like a little DJI Phantom cruising through the neighborhood. Especially with the pandemic, everybody's using it as their eyes to like go travel outside their house.
I think it's super cool. Everything from like those tiny, like you're saying, those tiny DJI drones, all the way up to the super big Predator style, that are basically small airplanes. I think super cool. Double plus. I dig it.
As long as they don't fall down on me and hurt me, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
that, I think the DJI Phantom's about as big as I would want, just like cruising around the skies. Like, I don't want one of those like 50-pound 8-rotor carbon fiber blades, two 10,000 milliwatt hour or whatever batteries like falling on me.
Yeah, I mean, I see the danger there. Sure, I think after a certain size, you're supposed to be licensed and stuff, right?
Correct.
So, I think they did it. Another one of those when they first blew up, it was crazy, Wild West, and I think they did a really good job of coming in and regulating and doing the right thing with personal drones, and then getting to a certain point where you need to test and license them. I think they did a really, really good job responding to the popularity of like consumer level drones. They did a really good job.
The range on them's nuts now too.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
Light Bridge can exceed 4 or 5 miles line of sight for like a consumer drone off the shelf.
I want to tether one to my car and go like VR through the drone and drive my car like it's GTA from a third person camera angle. I think that would be super cool.
I think that's going to be the future of like cars too. Is I think at some point you're going to have a drone that just takes off. Like when you go driving, I think you're going to have a drone that just takes off and just scouts ahead and stuff. Like when you start driving fast and stuff, the drone's just going to go like scout ahead your path on your GPS and like give you like the all clear and stuff. There's going to be all kinds of weird technology with drones. And everything good will be used for bad too. So just like expect it and understand it. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
You know, if you buy an IP cam to monitor your baby, chances are there's some creeper next door that like broke the encryption on it that's also watching your baby. So like be safe, be smart. Make sure that if you're using a device that is connected to the internet, that you understand the implications of being connected to the internet and you firewall the hell out of it. That's the other thing too, is like a lot of these cameras and stuff that are being used for in the Internet of Things devices that are being used, these DDoS networks, it's because everybody sets up the router just to let all traffic through. Like, don't do that. Like, set up your router with intent. Like, set it up to block everything except for what you want. And if you're playing a new game and it needs a new port, add it as needed. Don't just do the demilitarized zone to the computer that has all of your webcams attached to it, because you're just asking for it at that point.
That's what I need to do when we move. Is I need to be more deliberate with my Wi-Fi setup, because I want to have more of these smart devices. I want to have the smart speakers throughout the house. I want to have a Nest thermostat and the cameras in the Nest front porch, and so I'm gonna have some buddies of mine who know their shit to come by and help me set it up, because like I also want to have like a guest network for like when the teenagers are all coming over and stuff, and I don't want them to hassle me for my Wi-Fi password, and they're gonna have 1 megabit or whatever of my bandwidth, and I want to monitor the traffic that goes through my network and things like that. Like I want to be more deliberate than I have been in the past.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, all the modern routers and stuff allow you to set up like guest networks and segment them from your private network, so people can jump on and still get internet, but they can't see any of your computers that are actually inside of the network.
Right, and that's
good stuff to have configured.
Yeah.
How's the launch going? I checked, and no update for 20 minutes, so we'll know when I switch over. We'll see. Arnaldo, thank you for the poop emoji and $1. Jamie, thank you for the $2. It's very nice of you, Jamie. We appreciate that. Oh man, I got a bubble. Unsecured LOT sex toys. Oh, that'll be the future. You're like sitting there, just like going to town on your like fleshlight, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, this fleshlight feels different. What's going on? And it's like some dude's like tapped in, because like 90% of the women on the internet are dudes. Like I've known that since like the early 90s. Like if you're on chat channels and stuff like that, just beware. If you're in, especially 3D chat. If you're in 3D chat, you know that 3D chat, or no, VR chat, whatever it is. If you're in VR chat, there is 90% women to like 10% males. That does not add up. That does not add up at all. So just be aware. And experiment.
Girl stands for guy in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like you.
Hey, funny
you can't
side
go
story.
wrong assuming that.
I played a 13-year-old female on the internet when I was 11 to 15 years old. And you know what my handle was on MIRC? LILGRRL 13. Like little girl 13. And I used that account for years just to troll pedophiles and channels and scare them off the internet. And I did that for about 4 years. Me and my friend Jake also had a handle. I can't remember what his handle was. But we would literally join a channel and get like 5,000 fucking private messages the second we joined the channel just because of the name. And we'd get fucking lewd pictures and all kinds of stuff on IRC like sent to us. And then what we'd do is we'd use that finger protocol to like hit their IP address, and then it'd give us their name and their address and their phone number, and then we'd call them up. This is all before like you had like star 69 and stuff. So we'd like call them up on the phone and be like, "Oh, hi, we're talking to you on IRC right now." And the person just like freak out and be like, "Oh my God," hang up the phone, disconnected from the internet. Good times, man. Good times. Good times. Now everybody's got like IP phones and fucking VPNs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not fun anymore. Hey, we got a couple couple super chats. Night Out, thank you for the $2. He said they just pulled the tunnel away, clear skies. Yes! Yes, the launch may proceed. If they're pulling the tower away, they mean business.
Cool.
Sis Nerd, thank you for the $2. Said, what about the separate VLAN for wireless security? VLANs are actually pretty cool. So VLANs allow you. Do you know what VLANs are? Have you set those up?
A virtual LAN?
Yeah, virtual LAN. Basically, it allows you to have multiple distinct and separate networks over one cable.
Okay.
So in most high-end routers, like if you spend a good amount of money on your router, you have what's called a managed router. You can go in and create these VLANs. And what's nice about it is most houses are wired where there's only one Ethernet cable going to each room. So what it allows you to do is actually establish multiple different networks. Like coming off of that port on the wall, you could have like 3 different networks that are all distinct and separate from each other that have no crosstalk going over one wire. Okay. So, and it is pretty cool. They're pretty useful. I don't honestly use them ever because there's never a situation in my house where I need to have a separate network, because usually I have a separate network card. Like, for instance, all my 10G stuff is on its own physical network, so there's no need to have the VLANs. But I'm sure at some point I'll run into a case where it's like, I want to be able to bridge just one device that's on one VLAN with a device that's on another VLAN, and then set up a bridge between those two VLANs where they're still all separated out, but they have one path to get to one device on the other network or something like that. But other than that, not really. I don't really use it. There's a site called Perverted Justice who does exactly what you said. I am so glad that people are still doing that, because pedophile hunting is fun. It's fun for the whole family. I highly recommend it. Go on IRC, get on EFNet, and join any adult channel with some name with like 12 or 13 in it. I guarantee you'll get a million messages. Have fun. Beat them into the ground. Scare them straight. And that's what I'd like to think I did. I'd like to think I scared a lot of these dudes straight, where it's like I got them so uncomfortable, because I'd always play the story like, "Oh, I know who you are. How do you have my phone number? Oh, I know who you are. I'm your neighbor's daughter." And keep in mind, I was like 11 and 12 at the time, so I legitimately sounded like a girl until I was like 16 years old. Like my plums dropped way late. So everybody always call my house, and I pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, miss," because my mom's name was Missy. So it'd be like, "Hey, miss," and I'm like, "No, this is Junior." God damn it, because I sounded just like my mom until I was like 16 years old. So I put that shit to the test. Unlikely, Jerry? Oh, that I changed them? Probably not. But think about it. Maybe I did, because dude, if somebody caught you, think about it. If you got caught doing something that's like the worst fucking heinous thing ever, and don't make no mistake, pedophiles know what they do is fucked up. Like they're broken in the head. They know what to do. But if you show them how close they came to getting caught, they might actually go get some help. They might. I'm not saying all of them, but I'm saying I have to believe that at a certain point, like if every time you commit a crime, you get arrested and you get the shit beaten out of you and you live to fight another day, you're probably eventually going to knock it off. At least some of you. And if you didn't, well, then at least I had some fun fucking with them and making them like scared for their lives for at least one day. Hey, Daniel. Wow, Daniel, thank you for that $20. That's damn generous of you, my friend.
Yeah.
That was the biggest super chat of the day. So, Dave Barnacules Nerdgasm, I have a question for you. Which web browser was your first to feature tabbed browsing? Netscape, Tabby browser, or Internet Works? It would have been, no Spyglass Mosaic. Did they have tabs? I want to say that there was a version of Spyglass Mosaic. Here, let me see.
Oh, I feel like we're supposed to pick from those.
Oh, I didn't use two of those. I never used Tabby browser or Internet Works.
Yeah,
I did use Netscape, though. Everybody used Netscape. That was the gold standard.
Yeah.
Let me see. Were there tabs? Oh, no. Spyglass did not have tabs, but you could like move back and forth between sites on the same one. So I guess it still doesn't count as tabs, though. But my first graphical browser, I used Lynx, was my first text-based browser. My first graphical browser was Mosaic. And then I went to Netscape under Windows 3.1. But Mosaic was my very first browser. That was a good question, though. All right, do you want to talk about the final topic before we switch over and see if they scrub another launch?
Sure. Let's see. Oh, disrupting death. Could we really live on in a digital form?
Can it happen?
I like this idea in a way. So this I was kind of just skimming through this, and it talks about so this isn't really like uploading your. I think they mention it maybe later on. This isn't like uploading yourself to some sort of like matrix, or what was that one with Johnny Depp where like he makes his brain into an AI kind of thing. This is more talking about like if it seems like a more early stage form of like. They mention.
I've talked about this one before. Yeah, I just caught up.
Yeah, like as you're showing here, they're talking about this lady in Korea getting to like chat with her daughter in VR, and then they go on to talk about somebody in Russia like created took all these text messages and communications that they had with their friend to create like a digital version of their friend so that they could keep like texting with them
they like trained it, right? Like they trained a neural network to pretend and act like the son would have. Yeah. I think it's cool, but one thing is when I did this story over on Morning Coffee, a lot of people actually thought it was really irresponsible and morbid. And let me share their side of it, because I disagreed with it, but I understood why they'd think that. Okay. Is part of somebody dying, like death is something that we all have to deal with, right? It's something that we have to accept. It's something that we have to heal from. And a lot of people thought that something like this would prevent you from moving beyond it and growing beyond it and understanding death. And it would end up like kind of skewing your reality that as more people you loved died, that you would start escaping into the virtual world to hang on to them. And then you'd start ignoring reality. Like the new people that come into your life kind of replace them, right? And so I even though I kind of disagreed, it's on a person by person basis, I'm sure. I can totally see this leading to some psychoses, right? Like,
for sure.
So this is definitely something that could be a little bit scary. Like, what happened in this story, if you guys are wondering, is this Korean mother, her daughter passed away when she was young, and so they digitally like recreated her daughter from photography and made her a virtual world, and then took clips of her voice. Her mom provided clips and text and everything, and they basically created an AI for her to go in and hang out with her daughter and interact with her daughter in this VR world. Yeah. And as I understand it, even though it wasn't super accurate and it kind of had the same problems like Siri and shit, where it's like, sorry, mom, I can't answer that question. It was still enough that it like calmed her down and it helped her deal with losing her daughter, which losing a kid is like the worst thing. Like there's nothing worse than that. Like a parent having to watch their child die before them is like, I've seen it happen many times to even friends. I have friends that have lost, infants and even toddlers, and there's nothing worse. It literally just guts you from your core. So I totally understand how this technology could be used for therapy, but I think one of the things that should be added to this technology is almost like a narrative where the child is letting the mom know that everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be good, and then slowly start distancing and reducing the time and getting to the point where like don't allow them to just like stay in it for 12 hours. Have the kid be like, oh, hey, mom, I got to go. I'll be back later. But just so that they don't stay in there and they get lost in there. It's... Yeah,
I think especially with it, I think
it's a hard one, though, man, because it's like, I want that. Like if I could have me and my mom were tight, like really, really tight. Yeah. My mom defended me, throughout my life. She wasn't a perfect mom, but she was my mom. I love my mom. And it's like, I dream about her all the time. And I have these really vivid dreams where it's like, we're just hanging out and having conversations like she never died. And then I wake up and I'm happy for a little while. I used to be sad, but now I'm happy because it's like, I understand, hey, I got to talk to my mom and my brain. Like, my brain's doing this. So how is this any different than what my dream is doing, right? This is just a waking dream, right?
I think when it comes to like the death of a kid, or if it's like a death related and early in the like, oh, they just died like a month ago or whatever. Yeah. I could see it being a really helpful tool in the therapy or the grieving process.
Yeah.
But like it probably should be monitored.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
But now, like you saying, oh man, it'd be super cool to like be able to interact with some version of my mom. as an adult, you have processed that loss, and like now, I think go for it. Like you're an adult,
100% agree.
and you've been through this for a while. You've clearly processed it, and you've accepted the loss, and now it's more of a, not a novelty necessarily. I feel like that downplays the significance of it, but like,
but it won't be. I've acknowledged my mom died, so it's like now I know that I'm actually just enjoying the experience and the memory of my mother. I know that it's just a memory.
Yeah, it'd be like watching old home movies or something like that. Like you wouldn't have quite the same emotional attachment to this virtual person that you would maybe if you had done it a week or a month or a year prior, or right afterwards. Because like, man,
yeah,
I feel like I lost my grandma a few years back, and like it didn't like crush me the way I thought it would. It didn't
hit you immediately.
Yeah, and I still think, man, there's things that like I wish I could have said.
Sure.
And that kind of a thing. It would be really cool to be able to sit down and like have a cry with a virtual version of my grandma and say and apologize for some things, and to say the things that like that I couldn't in the end.
Get that.
And so I think for sure.
I think overall, it's a wonderful idea and it's wonderful technology. And if used properly, just like anything else, right? There's going to be good and there's going to be bad. There always is, but you have to move forward. Technology is important. But I think used properly, I could see this being a huge tool for therapists, right? To basically create a world that they can take you into to help you face your demons and help to overcome fears and overcome things like that. I think it'd be a great therapy tool. The only concern that I have about it is just people that become escapists. And to be honest, like that already happens right now. Like people that have like porn addiction and stuff like that, they'll literally just sit and like almost like die from starvation because they just get stuck in that world, right?
Wow.
And it happens. This absolutely happens. Like people in video games. Have you heard about like people dying from playing World of Warcraft because they will not leave the game and they're drinking and they're like they won't even go like take a shit and they're just like letting their bowels back up and having an internal rupture and then they die. And it's very small groups of people, but there is a thing in your brain where it's like that reward system gets so overwhelmed that they can't pull you out. And I could totally see that happening to people in VR. So I think it's one of those things where it's like it needs to be moderated in some way, shape, or form. Like you can't just be like open up like, hey, go hang out with all your dead relatives 24/7, because I think it's gonna dissociate you from the real world. And it may even lead to some confusion where you start to think that the VR world is the real world because that's the one where you're comfortable and you like it more. And you start not recognizing the real world as the real world. And that becomes hugely dangerous. Because if you don't think the real world is the real world, you're going to take unnecessary risks. You're going to do a lot of stuff that, and so I do think that there's like some more investigation that should be going into this, like before companies are just like willy-nilly recreating people's like dead relatives.
Yeah.
And plus the manipulation aspect's scary too.
Yeah, it definitely should be as part of a moderated grieving process that with a, because I could see like, I could see where it could break people who might not otherwise have had a problem. Like they may have been able to process it on their own.
Yeah.
Well, but then like, man, if we go down this path now, they're like, oh no, Jimmy's still alive,
I don't believe it. He's right in there. I just talked to him. And then the manipulation aspect, right? Because then you have companies that are like, they give you a free piece of software that's like, oh, we're going to scan your brain and recreate your loved one that died. And then every 15 minutes, your dead daughter is going to be like, hey, have you tried Raid Shadow Legends, Mom? You should play Raid Shadow Legends. Here, click this button. Come on, Mom, come over here and install Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, what's your credit card number, Mom? I love you. It's like there's an in for manipulation there, too. So, again, it has to be like a governed body. Like, if they're going to recreate your relative, they can't be like, fucking like pushing their own stuff, and then your kid's like, oh, you should vote for Trump or something like that, because like that some political party pays money to the company to embed that message into the dead kids and stuff. I mean, it's just there's so much bad stuff that could happen here. But from the standpoint of used as a therapy tool, absolutely 100%. And if it's something that you create yourself and you control, where it's not, if there's not a third party, like you're basically like, okay, I'm going to give it my mom's pictures. I'm going to give it some of her audio just so I can be in there and just listen to her voice and just her mannerisms and stuff. And you're the one providing that. Then I don't see that being destructive because that's already how you perceive them. And so they don't go off script. But once you create an AI and a learning thing, if it, it could evolve someplace your mom never did. And, day 30 or whatever, you somehow reflect some of your personality onto that AI. And then that AI starts going a little wonky bonks, and now mom's telling you to do shit you shouldn't be doing. I could see that becoming hugely self-serving. And then you could also use that as a mechanism to justify anything. Because you could basically get the AI to, like, praise you for everything. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mom. I went and killed 3 kids this morning. Oh, it's okay, son. I'll always forgive you. It's like then you have like the Jeffrey Dahmer effect and stuff. So it's like there's a couple different ways to look at this where it's good and it's bad, but I think that it's a neat use of technology, and as long as it's like developed properly and under supervision, it could help people, because it really helped this Korean mother. Like I read the story, the Korean mother was like it helped her get closure. She said that it was like, and she was way more calmer like afterwards. Like this was a huge thing for her. But keep in mind that she was working with this team towards this very specific goal. Once you commercialize the technology and there's money to be made, then shit might start getting a little bit more wonky and not so altruistic, Yeah. All right. Well, I think we better start wrapping up because I got to go watch this launch fail a second time.
It looks. They're
going to do it?
I think it's a high level of confidence right now.
Okay. I'm excited.
We're looking at just under 27 minutes. They got the dudes sitting there twiddling their thumbs.
Old Doug. What's the other guy's name? Doug and Bob? Bob and Doug?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Bob and Doug. Bob and Doug going to space today.
Bob and Doug.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this week on TechTalk. I want to thank all the super chatters. Thank you so much for your support. It means the absolute world to us. We will see you again next week here, 10 a.m. Saturday. Same bat time, same bat place. If we do have a change, though, just check Twitter. Twitter's where we announce any kind of changes.
100%.
And just so you know, I'm going to be transitioning right from this over to Twitch. So Twitch TV/Barnacules. I'm going to be live streaming the launch, or at least attempt to. It looks like it's pretty good.
Thanks for the $25, David Bowie.
What's that? It was distorted.
Thanks for the $25, David Bowie.
Oh, damn, David. Thank you for sending us out in style, my man. Woo, David. So guys, come over and join me on Twitch TV/Barnacules here. Let me put it in the chat just so everybody doesn't go, oh my god, where'd he go? And then it ends the chat and you can't see it. So here we go. Let me do shameless promotion. All right, come on, damn it.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I stream sometimes on Twitch as well, but until I move, it's really shaky.
Yeah. Well, all your info's in the video description too, so make sure you're following him on social media, because we're both social media addicts. So just get over there
for sure.
And hit us up. All right, guys, I'm gonna see you here in just a couple of minutes. I just got to take down one thing, bring up the other stream, hit go. So 5 minutes at the most, and let's watch this launch and history go down, dude. You can't take a nap yet though. You got to see the launch. You're gonna see the launch.
Yeah, this will be cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I at least want to see the liftoff. Like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
It's
dude, this is like historic. This is big time historic.
Not to go any longer, but I was at work when they did the first big rover onto Mars with that crane, that sky crane thing that they did.
Yeah,
I watched
Curiosity.
that whole thing while I was working. Holy cow! I was getting goosebumps and stuff. There was like that 13 or 17 minutes of like, we don't know what's going on for a little while, and like I'm getting all goosebumps and like, holy shit, this is like
how does that even work? Like so many things had to go right. It just doesn't even make sense.
I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it. It was so freaking cool. This is a big deal too. 10 years we haven't launched a human being from the United States. We've been piggybacking on Russian rockets. And man, I'm hoping that this is like the first step in the revitalization of American space travel.
Dude, if this goes flawlessly, everything changes from today on. If this goes smoothly, everything changes.
It makes me want to cry. I want humans back in space so bad. Yeah. Every aspect of our lives has been touched by what happened during the Apollo program. You guys don't understand how much cool technology came out of the space race that we all take for granted today.
It's a lot.
Velcro. Okay, Velcro. You don't know that. Velcro was developed by NASA. The fucking memory foam mattress that you're sleeping on
NASA.
is developed based out of technology from NASA. Humongous advancements in medical science, humongous changes in how we understand how our bodies
Agriculture,
work.
food, everything. It's affected everything.
Everything it has been touched from the original space race and the Apollo program and everything that came out of that. And if we can get, it's
gonna be awesome.
It's so fucking cool. And I cannot wait to see space tourism. Where
It's gonna happen in our lifetime, dude. It's gonna happen.
Where I genuinely believe that it'll be like right now. Sure, you can go up into space for $250,000 or something. The Russians will let you ride along, but I guarantee in our lifetimes you will see it at a much more reasonable price, where you could spend a weekend at a space hotel for the price of a big international trip. Like it'd be $12,000 or something, $15,000.
Boots on the moon.
And yeah, like it is not unreasonable to think that we will have 100%. We are going to have a permanent placement on the moon.
It's gonna be awesome
before I die. And it's just the coolest shit in the world. I'm so excited.
All right, guys. I'll see you over on Twitch. Let's hope everything goes smoothly, because everything after this changes. If this goes smoothly, the whole world changes.
It's so cool.
All right, take it easy, guys. We'll see you next Saturday or over on the Twitch stream if you're gonna come over there and watch the launch with me. All right, see ya later. See, is it gonna work? End. There we go. End and stop.